News of disaster, conflict and death dominate headlines around the globe. In the year 2004, 6 million children died of hunger. 250,000 people of natural disaster, and the livelihoods of hundreds of millions more were destroyed.
Tzu Chi was the first Taiwanese organization to enter Pakistan to provide relief. Its volunteers...
Dressed in blue and white, these volunteers spring into action whenever and wherever disaster strikes, bringing aid and relief in the midst of despair. Many call them the Blue Angels. They are the volunteers of a Buddhist charity foundation from Taiwan, Tzu Chi. Their footprints of compassion have crossed 5 continents and left a mark in over 60 countries.
Tzu Chi will save this family's life this winter.
All Pakistanis love you, and we all Kashmiri love you people.
The way you're organized, many people are being blessed very quickly. Very quickly.
Yes.
The leader of Tzu Chi Foundation is Master Cheng Yen. This is her story and a portrait of her humanitarian relief work around the globe. On the eastern coast of Taiwan, facing the Pacific Ocean, lies the province of Hualien. To reach Hualien from Taipei City, the traveler has to pass through many tunnels. Hualien's remote location protects it from the ravages of rapid change, thus preserving its great natural beauty. This autumn, medical professionals from all over the world are on their way to Hualien. They are part of the Tzu Chi International Medical Association, the heart of its disaster relief efforts.
This convention, we have 421 members from over 13 countries. Majority of them are first time to Taiwan and first time to see Master Cheng Yen. It is like homecoming. It's Moon Festival. They are very curious. They want to, of course, meet the Master Cheng Yen and to find out a little bit more about Tzu Chi.
Good morning, everybody.
The Mid-Autumn Moon Festival is an important tradition in Taiwan. On this day, everyone has to return home for the family reunion, even if they have to travel thousands of miles. For these Tzu Chi volunteers, this was a very special homecoming. And they were greeted with song and applause at Tzu Chi's headquarters. Since 1996, these medical volunteers have braved harsh and dangerous conditions to bring relief to the most remote regions of the world. Over the past decade, the 5,000 Tzu Chi medical volunteers have served 700,000 people in 28 countries.
Welcome Master Cheng Yen and the masters to enter the hall.
The leader the volunteers have come all this way to meet is Dharma Master Cheng Yen. She heads the Tzu Chi Foundation, a Buddhist charity group with 10 million members around the world. Her volunteers work in the areas of medicine, culture, education, and humanitarian relief in Taiwan and beyond.
To describe Master Cheng Yen is a very, very hard job. For me, use a short sentence. But up to my head right now, people call her Mother Teresa in Asia. In a lot of Catholic countries, I introduced Master Cheng Yen. Oh, she's just like Mother Teresa. But I think she's not only Mother Teresa. I don't want to say she's so great, so extraordinary, she's like God. No, she's an ordinary person. But somehow, she has a very special character.
我们的人会在全球这么多的国家，虽然所住的地方都离得很遥远，可是我们的心都是共同一念心，那就是爱。
People, sometimes they misunderstood Master Cheng Yen. She said she had a superficial power, she had a lot of energy, which is wrong, you know, because she is so pure, so simple. So you reflect yourself, your complexity, when you're in front of her. You feel so embarrassing to being so complexity, to being so many dilemmas. So when you recorrect yourself, redimension yourself, you follow, you know, her direction and her expectation. You become like a much more pure mind and simpler life.
月亮已经出来了哈，抬头望明月哈。但是呢，平时都是我们的一家人哈。好，请大家慢慢享用这真情的友谊哈。好，感恩，我先回去了。好，感恩感恩。 安尼较紧招待人哈。上人晚安，跟上人挥挥手。
Hambantota is a scenic fishing village in the south of Sri Lanka. On the Sunday morning after the Christmas of 2004, a wave of sudden disaster shattered the age-old calm here. The South Asian tsunami brought death in the blink of an eye. Ocean waves reached heights exceeding 10 meters, killing 30,000 people in less than 20 minutes. 3 days later, the Tzu Chi volunteers arrived, bringing aid into the heart of the disaster zone.
这个灾难一发生的时候呢，我们马上就到了，马上就到，马上就是先看灾，看这个国家它的灾难的受灾情形到什么程度，需要什么援助，需要多少数量。 马上回报本会，让我们上人呢做最正确的抉择出来。那么第一梯次来的时候，随行人员有20多位的医疗人员。那么那时候我们是认为说，海啸刚过后哈，那么可能最需要的就是一些有受伤的人需要有紧急就医的机会。那么还有300顶的临时帐篷，那么还要做2000吨的这个大米的发放。1个礼拜之内呢，我们就把这边的情形报告给台湾的证严上人，那么让我们师父呢可以做最正确的判断。 那么那时候就决定了说要盖647间的这个大爱屋哈，那么这个在我们自己来讲是属于一个长期的一个灾后重建的工作。
6 months on, most international aid organizations have moved out of Sri Lanka, but for Tzu Chi, the work has only just begun. They poured more than $10 million into the construction of a new community. The plan consists of 600 homes, a school, and a hospital. On the first anniversary of the tsunami, the Tzu Chi volunteers were ready to present their gift of compassion. They were on hand to help the tsunami victims as they registered for their new homes and prepared to move in. The construction work took just over 6 months.
I saw Tzu Chi people, 3 main characters. That is the dedication. They showed us the teamwork. We respect each other. I really appreciate that quality from Tzu Chi Foundation people.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief efforts abroad mirror the charity work that they do back at home in Taiwan. In 2005, Master Cheng Yen graced the opening ceremony of the Xindian Tzu Chi Hospital. Within 2 decades, she built a network of 6 hospitals across Taiwan, serving 2 million people in regions where affordable healthcare was previously unavailable. Medical expertise lies at the heart of Tzu Chi humanitarian relief efforts, both in Taiwan and abroad. Master Cheng Yen built the first of the Tzu Chi hospitals in Hualien, then a remote region of Taiwan vulnerable to natural disasters. It is Buddhist compassion in action, a means of alleviating human suffering with the help of Western medicine. Master Cheng Yen started Tzu Chi in 1966, a humble cooperative consisting mainly of housewives. Her mission was to help the poor, but she soon discovered the cause of poverty was illness.
他看到了这一些现象，就是因病而贫的现象，看到了花莲地区民众求医求不得的苦，所以他觉得他要在花莲为东部地区的民众来新建一所慈济医院。所以当他讲这一句话的时候呢，全场应该虽然是只有10几个人，可是也算是所有来的都是核心人物嘛。 大家都空气都凝固了，大家觉得说这个应该不可能嘛，所以没有几乎大家脸色沉重，空气凝固。所以我就在那个时候我就说，我赞成，我赞成，师父我赞成。事实上那个时候真的非常的困难，因为找土地没有人相信嘛，所以都到处求啊，到处拜托啊。所以后来又要说8亿要盖医院呐。 我走到哪里，人家就跟我讲说：“哎，那个来了，那个来了。”哦，就说我有精神病啊。好，因为那个时候花莲县政府啊，1年的预算大概1亿左右。那你一个出家人，一介尼啊，一个瘦弱的你去做这件事情，你根本一文不名，怎么有可能呢？要花那么大的业呢
？To persuade the naysayers, Master Cheng Yen held one fundraising event after another. Her clarion call slowly drew the attention of Taiwanese from different walks of life. Shampoo lady Ah Tao donated $10,000, her income from 3,000 shampoo washers. She even canvassed for donations from her customers.
一个人去讲，我头啊洗头真俗，偌济洗头100块呢咧。啊来洗头洗，我哋讲慈济，讲会要关病床无，一点病床15000。啊吼，啊病床吼起病的正健康因，等讲啦，洗只头100，啊叫拐15000去。你讲我俗，我讲无啦，你家人讲过就讲过。
With the help of ordinary Taiwanese like Ah Tao, the word of the little Buddhist nun who wanted to build a big hospital soon spread far and wide. When then Taiwan President Jiang Qingguo heard the news, he made a visit to Master Cheng Yen and instructed government ministries to give her full support. But even after securing the land and building the hospital, there were fresh difficulties. Few doctors were willing to leave the comfort of Taipei City to work in remote Hualien. Against all odds, after 7 years of hard work, the Tzu Chi Hualien Hospital finally opened in 1986. The hospital now serves 350,000 residents. So how does Master Cheng Yen run a sophisticated network of hospitals? Her secret is management by walking about, Buddhist style. She listens to the needs of both doctors and patients and looks for ways of making things work better. Her approach to Buddhism is infused with pragmatism and common sense.
You have to practice Buddhism, not only talk about it. The practice is more important. However, I see no evidence of practicing Buddhism. They talk about, they meditate, they, all kinds of different ceremonies. But I have never seen a Buddhist hospital. So I was curious until I came back to Hualien and I saw what Master Cheng Yen has done for Taiwan, for Hualien. Everything she has done, she can put up to show you. Not only talk in the Western society, you say, you put up or you shut up. It means you show me what you did before you talk.
Today, doctors give up higher-paying jobs elsewhere to work at the Hualien Hospital. Master Cheng Yen has built apartments for the doctors and even schools for their children. It was her way of overcoming objections by doctors who did not want to work in the backwaters of Hualien. In so doing, she turned a hardship posting into a dream job. But she went even further. She developed the Hualien Hospital into a full-fledged medical center with its own nursing college and medical school.
It's spent almost 10 years, 15 years to reach the level of the medical center. So it's a long way.
上人有一个观念呢，他认为我们要做任何一件事情，不做则已，要做就把它做好。一再强调说，为佛教，为众生啊，为佛教。很多人都把佛教当成是一个怎样是迷信的，或者是一个老年人的宗教，是一个比较不科学的。所以上人也很希望说，借着新建院这个过程啊，那让大家来认识说，佛教呢，它是一个科学的。
The Catholic Church have now over 6,000 hospitals worldwide. 6,000. You can imagine the size. And given time, Tzu Chi will be like that too.
When Master Cheng Yen first vowed to build the Hualien Hospital, everyone thought it was an unattainable vision. But over the past 40 years, Master Cheng Yen and the Tzu Chi volunteers have realized one impossible dream after another. At 4:30 every morning, Master Cheng Yen and her disciples chant the ancient Buddhist sutras. These chanting sessions, in the morning and evening, are their only moments of spiritual contemplation. As the sun rises on the Pacific Ocean, the Jingsi abode in Hualien also welcomes the first rays of light. By 7 o'clock, Master Cheng Yen's hectic day has begun. She hosts her morning assembly with the Tzu Chi volunteers. During this meeting, the volunteers pour forth their doubts and difficulties. In turn, Master Cheng Yen offers her comfort and advice. But this is no private spiritual exchange behind closed doors. Using video conferencing technology, the volunteers at 3 different Tzu hospitals across Taiwan call in and share their experiences. The entire session is recorded and then telecast 12 hours later around the world on Tzu's satellite TV channel.
慈济这样一个道场哈，那是真的是蛮特殊，可是我自己是觉得很欢喜，我走进来这样一个道场，因为如果是那种传统的佛教的话，可能我大概也走不进来，因为我这个人也是蛮高怪的。可是呢，就是我们讲佛教过去给人家的印象就是这个超度啊、念经啊，那上人一直希望就是说能够改变这样一个不是很正确的观念。其实佛教它是非常入世的因为慈济是一个实践的团体，上人几十年来的这种教育，那他们其实在内心里面已经充满那种一种佛心施治一种使命感，而且那样一个使命感是随时准备要出发的那种使命感。
Master Cheng Yen advocates the experience of Buddhist truths through the practice of good deeds. Always dressed in their signature blue uniform, the 1 million Tzu volunteers around the globe can mobilize at a moment's notice for their latest mission. Like the Bodhisattva with 1,000 hands in the Buddhist legend, these volunteers reach out and alleviate suffering in various parts of the world. One such volunteer on the move is Lynn Renziong, the owner of an electronics company. Three times a week, he works at the Tzu recycling station. He is one of 40,000 such volunteers in Taiwan. Though their task may be mundane and repetitive, the environmental benefits are immense. Every year, they save more than 1 million trees and generate an income of $10 million. The Tzu Foundation channels the income it earns from recycling into the running of the Da'ai satellite TV station. This non-profit station broadcasts breaking news and feature stories of Tzu humanitarian relief efforts in more than 60 countries.
Desperately needed. Various countries and organizations lent their helping hands.
Eric Yao used to be one of Taiwan's top architects. After listening to one of Master Cheng Yen's speeches, he decided to become a Tzu volunteer. For more than a decade since then, he has worked 16 hours a day without pay. He even foots the bills for his Tzu-related travel.
因为你去为别人做，而不求任何条件，那么用那个方法去让你的生命更升华。我相信慈济里头是有很多这样的机会，让愿意去让自己生命升华的人有一种很好的练习的机会。
Inspired by Master Cheng Yen's message of compassion, people from all walks of life in Taiwan have become Tzu volunteers. Today, the volunteers are here to offer encouragement and solace to this man who lost both his arms in an accident.
我以前没有这么慈悲啦，我认为我自己顾好自己就好，我也不要去做坏人啊，所以我觉得我本分是做好。结果现在不是，好像天下的人都跟我们息息相关，所以天下人有苦有难，我们真会很难过，就想尽办法要怎么去帮助他，这是我被启发出来的。
Yun Hui Mei was among the pioneer batch of volunteers at the Hualien Tzu Hospital. She often visits the patients, even after they have been discharged.
帅哥，感謝大家吼，啊，免客氣，免客氣，啊，但伊嘛好困啊。
To become a certified volunteer like Yin Hui Mei, one has to undergo 2 years of training, which covers the theory and practice of volunteerism. In typical Tzu Chi fashion, no detail is left to chance. Even the manner in which one takes a bow is covered in the training syllabus. This is to ensure that all volunteers present a consistent image of Tzu Chi to the people whom they serve. A certified volunteer has to take on additional responsibilities of fundraising and guiding new volunteers. At the end of the training period, Master Cheng Yen personally certifies these volunteers, who then become her envoys of compassion around the world.
The Tzu Chi Foundation founded in 1966. At the time, only 5 members. And now we got 10 million members around the world, and more than 1 million volunteers. You get involved in the day-to-day, the charitable activities or the other missions activities.
After record-setting damages left by Hurricane Katrina, the United Nations and countries all over the world are offering support to the U.S.
In 2005, Hurricane Katrina took a few thousand lives and destroyed more than 1 million homes. The Tzu Chi branch in the USA sprang into action, offering much-needed financial aid to the victims. Within 2 months, the Tzu Chi volunteers distributed $3 million to more than 17,000 families.
Bring your ID, go to our place, and we're going to give you a financial aid. Okay?
She is like the Mother Teresa in your country, and I just want to say thank you very much. And people from Taiwan, God bless you.
千手观音真正是闻声救苦啊！我们佛教徒不能只在寺庙里面诵经拜经了，应该是真的入众生界。所以上人他是一个人间佛教的实践者，他说到他做到。
In the name of Buddhist compassion, Tzu Chi is known for tackling problems that many would have shunned. For decades, the poorest of the poor in Jakarta, Indonesia, lived on the banks of the Untitled River. The residents draw their drinking water from this heavily polluted source. To clean up the river would require the relocation of more than 10,000 residents. It was a massive undertaking. The Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia, including some leading Chinese businessmen, spearheaded the project. The construction of 1,100 apartments was completed within 2 years. In 2003, the Untitled River residents moved out of the squatters into their new homes. To help them break the vicious cycle of poverty, Tzu Chi also built a school, a hospital, and a vocational training institute.
Saya mau mengucapkan terima kasih banyak sama Master Cheng Yen, walaupun dia jauh di sana, tapi di hati saya ada terukir nama Master.
The vast majority of the Untitled River residents are Muslims, so the Buddhist Tzu Chi volunteers also built them a place of worship.
The idea is to help the poor, but not just helping the poor, but also to teach the rich to care the poor. So, and I feel that also during this process, that this is really what Master Cheng Yen say: if you don't do it, you don't feel it.
Many religious leaders, be they Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist, have affirmed Master Cheng Yen's work. The Dalai Lama even described her as a role model. They share the core value of compassion.
I read one article. People asked Dalai Lama, can you give me words to describe Tibet? Dalai Lama say, compassion. Do you know Tzu Chi means in English? Compassion, relief. Yes, you have compassion, but you must put into action. Relief. Relief what? Relief pain, relief troublesome, relief hunger, relief disaster. Compassion, relief. I think these two words describe Master Cheng Yen.
Master Cheng Yen believes good deeds are means of calling forth the seed of compassion in every human heart. It is a journey that every person has to undertake for themselves, just as she had done decades ago. "5 years in the making, the first book of Master Cheng Yen photographs is finally going to print. Lynn Renziong is a respected documentary photographer who has spent the past 30 years exploring the link between the Taiwanese people and their native land through his art.
当你焦距在对准它，你构图的位置也刚刚好哦，然后呢，快门机会，你会觉得啊，就是那一瞬间，他的慈悲跟他的智慧终于外现了，也被我曝光了。
Since 1999, he has trained his lens on the person of Master Cheng Yen. He wanted to uncover the source of this pint-sized Buddhist nun's profound influence on Taiwan and the world.
我那么多年来所看到他的生活，就是一有在赵山的重复。他每天呢就面对的人呢，处理的事情呢，又都是大同小异，几乎平凡到他隔壁邻居都有。那他不平凡在哪里呢？几乎每一件事情，只要他想的，我有了解的，几乎都做成了。这个是他最不平凡的事情，几乎好像很少人是这样子。
It was the specter of disaster and death that first brought Master Cheng Yen to the photographer's attention. In 1999, a major earthquake shook Taiwan, killing more than 2,000 people and laying to waste thousands of buildings. Amidst the rubble of devastation, Yuan started work on a new series of photographs at the invitation of Tzu Chi. His subject was Project Hope, the reconstruction of 50 schools destroyed by the earthquake.
那个时候啊，我哪知道慈济要研建了50所学校，我以为了不起20几所，哇，那时候真是一大挑战。不过呢，在他的字典里好像没有这个不可能这个字。
Master Cheng Yen drew on decades of disaster relief experience as she directed the rebuilding efforts. Since 1967, Tzu Chi has evolved a disaster response system to Taiwan's frequent typhoons and earthquakes. But this was a project of unprecedented scale, one that demands massive donations of time and resources. Taiwan, Tzu Chi, and Master Cheng Yen rose to the occasion.
新学校的第一届毕业生，所以呢，要拍的就把它拍得很成功。OK， 来。
3 years later, Tzu Chi completed all 50 schools they pledged to build at the cost of $300 million and countless hours of volunteer work. In a world often shaken by disaster and conflict, life at the Jingxi abode in Hualien always remains the same. Every day, these Buddhist disciples work in the fields, staying true to the philosophy of self-subsistence laid down by their master.
上人当初入佛门现出家相，他对自己发的3个愿啊，他的3个愿里面有一个愿就是不接受供养啊。上人就讲说，这就是我的愿，你要对我修行，我吃的路的苦，你都要对我吃的路。
Master Cheng Yen and her disciples grow their own food and tailor their own garments. To meet other daily needs, they generate income from this factory, which makes health food powder and candles. These disciples have to labor every single day to support themselves, just as their master had done for over 40 years. Master Cheng Yen built her Jingse abode on the same principles of self-sustenance. Since she refuses to accept alms from her followers, she had to take out a bank loan when she built her spiritual sanctuary.
不接受供养，我们社会大众的善款都用在慈济的4大事业。 没有1分1毛钱是用在上人他私人的一个道场，没有，这是大家眼睁睁是看到的。
Little is known about Master Cheng Yen's life before she became a Buddhist nun. In 1937, she was born into a wealthy family in Taichung. The sudden death of her father, a cinema owner, from a stroke, shattered her world. His passing triggered her spiritual quest at the age of 23. She ran away from home and built a wooden hut in Hualien. There, she shaved her head and started studying the Buddhist scriptures on her own. But a nun without a proper master was considered a renegade, an outsider to the Buddhist tradition. There was one Buddhist master who eventually took her into his fold. When the Venerable Yin Sun passed away in 2005, all major Buddhist leaders in Taiwan attended his memorial. His disciple, Master Cheng Yen, was among the ranks of mourners. Venerable Yin Sun was an influential thinker who advocated and taught humanistic Buddhism. Master Cheng Yen was drawn to the teachings of the Venerable. He accepted her as his disciple in 1963. Since then, she has poured her life efforts into practicing humanistic Buddhism.
印顺导师告诉证严法师的6个字就是为佛教、为众生。证严法师的师父印顺导师，他就是人间佛教的这个播种者跟领航者。印顺导师他给了一个非常非常大的力量，让人间佛教成为现在台湾佛教的一个非常主流的一个存在。当然，慈济在这个人间佛教这种实践上面，它是实践的非常非常的彻底。
To go forth into the thick of the human world is the mandate of humanistic Buddhism. Every month, the 70-year-old Master Cheng Yen leaves her spiritual sanctuary in Hualien and goes on a tour of Taiwan. Along the way, she meets countless people face to face. She listens to their suffering and shares with them Buddhist truths and principles. The only time she has to herself every day is 5 hours of sleep and 5 minutes for each meal. This has been her routine for the past 40 years.
She stuck with those routine work to see different people, minute to minute, and always stay in calm and try to comfort them, so they can receive, her comfort and her strength as well.
他从来不会因为这个事情做了太多遍啊，做了好几十年啊，一直重复的时候，做这一次比上个次稍微放松一点，他没有啊，他一样的，他就会照着第一步、第二步、第三步、第四步，然后做了，哎，就走到了我们想象不到的那种的局面。
Once a week, Master Cheng Yen holds a meeting with the heads of department in the Tzu Chi Foundation. Within 4 hours, she gets a snapshot of Tzu Chi's charity work across 5 continents. In this meeting, the sights and sounds of the Pakistan earthquake relief efforts resound in her Hualien boardroom. Master Cheng Yen has evolved her own way of managing this growing Buddhist charity.
为什么上人说出以爱为管理？那上人只是讲个大原则，细节上人都不去讲。而且你看，所有的委员体系的管理系统都是他们自己定的。你看我来金色20几年了，71年了，上人从来不会跟我讲说你什么没做，哎呀，也不会说你哪一件事情没做好，没做好你去加班，没有啊。
真的非常的感恩，当然了，有好几位的报告呢，我都很感动，感恩大家，也祝福大家，感恩。
Often, it is through the lens of technology that Master Cheng Yen sees into the suffering of the modern world. Every day, her volunteers offer timely disaster relief around the clock, halfway across the globe. But the Master herself has never traveled out of Taiwan, because she has a heart condition. Undaunted, she has found means of bridging the vast distances: video conferencing, web chats, and emails. For this Dharma master, Buddhism is not about meditating on a mountaintop, nor is it about introspection in a wooden hut. Instead, she is constantly looking outwards and remains ever curious about the world around her. To practice Buddhist compassion, she keeps her finger on the pulse of global affairs and her feet firmly planted in the human world.
当然也会有人会觉得说，慈济它的一些做法好像是跟传统的佛教不太一样。可是我觉得它的基本精神是回归到，或者是说直接的连接到2000多年以前的那个佛陀的时代里。
At the global headquarters of Tzu Chi, there is a mural of a young Buddha. Consisting of 1 million mosaic pieces, this is the image of Buddhism, a religion with 2,500 years of history that Master Cheng Yen is presenting to the world.
What Master is after, not only for herself or for Tzu Chi Foundation, she really wanted that the whole Taiwan and the entire universe to be peaceful and free of disasters.
他真的是一个非常非常伟大的一个教育家，而且今天能够做到这样，其实是上人他付出了他生命中的每一分一秒、每一个细胞，是这样在付出，才有办法成就今天的慈济世界。所以我最大的期待是希望更多人来加入慈济，然后甚至是全球的人都能够来了解慈济、接受慈济，作为一个慈济人，这是我最大的心愿。感恩阿弥陀佛，可以结束了哈。